Welcome back to Sports Betting Truth, and I am right here outside of UNLV's Thomas and Mack Center, which is where the UNLV Runnin' Rebels basketball team plays, as well as the Mountain West Conference Tournament. Now you're probably wondering why I'm here. Now on a typical July day in Las Vegas, you'll have this place hosting a NBA Summer League game, but that's not the case with coronavirus, so it's empty today. Actually, in the parking lot, it looks like they're doing drive-up coronavirus testing, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to talk about the NBA Reboot. Now, as of right now, the NBA is set to reboot at the end of the month, and here are my thoughts on that reboot. Now, the NBA is a tricky sport. Most of you don't know, but I ran an NBA model in 2016-2017 season, and like my college basketball model, it did very well at first. Like in December and the first part of January, it did very well, and then it kind of fell off. Now, NBA is a tough cookie to crack because you never know, especially in the regular season, you never know which team's going to show up and which players are going to show up. Like, the regular season is meaningless in the NBA, so a lot of players aren't going to give 100% effort every night. At least in college, you have a better feeling that the players are going to give 100% effort every time they go out there, unlike in the NBA. And then you have coaches who will sit players to rest them and all that stuff, and it's just a big mess. So it's just that's the hardest part about betting NBA is how much do players care about the regular season. And I'm not saying that's why my NBA model faltered in 2016-2017, but you know, it's always in the back of your mind. And so that transitioned into this NBA reboot. How much are players going to care? At least in a normal season, you can know that players will care in the playoffs. They're not going to take the playoffs off. They're not going to half-ass it. They're going to give it their all. But with this reboot and a bunch of players saying, I'm going to sit out and blah, 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 and like, how much do players care about this reboot in Orlando? I don't know. Tough to say. I mean, there's play-in rounds, right? How much are these teams going to care about the play-in rounds? And then when the playoffs start, how much are they going to care about the playoffs? Like, is there as much prestige in this reboot as there would be in a normal round of NBA playoffs? Because having been an intern at ESPN Radio in 2011 and been in the Mavericks locker room during their playoff run in 2011, I know how much the playoffs matter to these guys. It matters a lot. But is the coronavirus Orlando bubble playoffs going to matter as much as a normal NBA playoff would, played in front of home fans? I don't know. And that's, in my opinion, the biggest hurdle when it comes to modeling for this NBA reboot. How much are players going to care? And are stats from games played before the shutdowns and everything going to factor in any model at all? Like, are players going to be able to hit the ball rolling right away? There's so many wild cards here, and in my opinion, if I was creating a model for this NBA reboot, which I'm not, by the way, I will not be doing it, but if I were, I would probably run like a test run during the play-in rounds and even the first rounds in the NBA playoffs as like a trial to calibrate any model, and then I would start betting it for real starting with the semifinals, the conference semifinals, because there's just too many wild cards. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if players are going to care, and you're not going to have the answers to any of these questions until the conference semifinals when there's only 8 teams left. From there, you could probably imagine those teams, yeah, they're probably going to care, right? But until then, I wouldn't trust any model at all or any bets. Model or no model, too many wild cards. And that's ultimately why I like betting college basketball more than the NBA, because even though there's more teams and less games and a lot more data to calculate and everything, at least you know the players are going to give an effort, or at the very least, you know there's a better chance of them giving an effort. And that's my thoughts on the NBA reboot. I mean, I know a lot of people are hungry and itching to bet on some games, and I don't blame you. And this could be a thing for baseball as well. Like, how many of these baseball players are going to care about a shortened season? Big wild card. But either way, whether you're betting baseball or basketball, give it some time to calibrate so some of these questions can be answered before putting any real money down. That's how I feel. And that wraps it up for this video live from Las Vegas at the UNLV's Thomas and Mack Center. I've been in the Mountain West tournament here a few times. Kind of an venue. Good for college, but they couldn't host an NBA team, but that's what T-Mobile Arena is for across the street. Anyway, until next time, this is Sports Betting Truth signing off.